monetization on this video. All right, welcome to Franklin Field. Chris Chavez alongside Anderson Emerald, Aisha Pratt-Lear, and my voice cracked, right?
Are you crying?
It's so emotional. It is my last show.
Can you get a grip?
I'm crying because I lost my job on my day off.
Yeah. I know, we kicked him off. Like, we fired him.
Paul Hoff-Mahoney's off camera just waiting for me to just
He's like, yeah, boys, keep cracking, brother.
Anyway, day 2, Grand Slam Track Philly in the books. Another day where these stands were filled with fans. We had even more surprises. Records kept falling. But I think the theme for today was even when we think we know what's going to happen in some of these races, there were surprises left and right. Anderson, I guess we'll start with you. Biggest shock of the day for you?
I mean, surprises with Melissa Jefferson running 10.7, Kenny B running 9.8. Those were some crazy. I mean, even Trevor Bassitt, winning over Alison dos Santos. I mean, so many surprises. But we spoke about it yesterday. I have to shout out this crowd, man. This just is another day of proving how Grand Slam track is getting better and better every single time. That is my highlight of everything so far.
Aisha?
The track is fast, right? We haven't seen a professional track meet at Franklin Field, and everybody the whole weekend was talking about what's it going to be like. The bends are interesting. This isn't quite what we're accustomed to, and we're seeing some really, really fast times run on this track. I hope we bring Grand Slam back here next year.
Eric?
I mean, the short distance races were fantastic, but I thought Bassitt beating Dos Santos today, I mean, that's huge for Kenny, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
Kenny's watching that loss, that's
true.
huge.
Yeah.
Now Kenny's the only one, right? He's
at the top of
who's
the
at the very top
standings,
of the
right?
So. I thought that was huge. That was one of the first races of the day. I thought that really set the tone and kicked everything off.
Hey, nice watch. What do you got there?
This whole thing. This is the Garmin 970, Chris. And I'm a big fan of it already.
You took it out for the jog yesterday. What's your favorite feature on it?
I haven't even come close to exploring nearly enough of the features.
My favorite feature is Eric's stress.
Oh, the stress levels?
I love the flashlight, but watching Eric's stress levels is my favorite feature of the weekend.
Well, we were at incredibly cute dinner last night. And Johnny was trying to use his phone flashlight, and Aisha, I'm not quite sure how to turn the flashlight on and off yet. But
I got it going.
We used the flashlight for the menu. And,
look at that.
Yeah.
It's
bright. It was overpowering. Everyone's okay, all right. Turn it off. All right, can you not turn it off? I don't want to look like an idiot.
It's that easy. It's that easy.
But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm actually, the coolest thing, I'm now up on my steps. I'm checking it. I've never really checked my step counts like this.
Yeah.
You and all the step girlies out there, you're checking your step
You've got
count.
to get your steps.
All right, give us the Content Creator Zone report for today.
Today was our best day. I think we did our best work on the Content Creator Zone. We came into our own in the luxurious plush atmosphere down there. What was your highlight?
I'm feeling comfortable in there.
Oh.
This what also, we talked about it a lot, but it was hands down better setup than our Miami Content Creator Zone. But we were informed that we might be back to Miami-esque. But we've been there before. We'll handle it with strength, and we know what to do.
Strength, I love it.
All right, so let's move into unpacking today's races. Wow, my voice is gone.
Paul,
get it together.
get ready.
Well, you was up screaming all night at a wedding.
Exactly. All right, so we started off with the long hurdles, 400. Trevor Bassitt shocks Dos Santos, wins in 45-47.
This was big.
And John Anderson was up on the stage, and when Trevor popped by, he asked him, at what point in the race did you start thinking about the money? He goes, oh, I didn't. He's like, but after you cross the finish line, it's the first immediate thought. It's like $100K in your bank account. That's going to be awesome.
They're driving this money home.
They
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah.
They really are. Man, this was big for Trevor. And kind of we saw a little yesterday where he finished close to Alison dos Santos in the hurdles. So people kind of to think like, okay, could Trevor maybe, get second place overall or maybe, really pull it off? He pulled it off in like really amazing fashion from the inside. Like this was a big meet for Trevor, coming in as a challenger for the second time, getting the 100K, and he celebrated like it was no other right after.
I had a very funny interaction with Trevor Bassitt 2 days ago here at the track while he was doing like his pre-meet stuff. And I was just speaking very openly to him. I was like, I just don't know how like someone's going to take points away from Alison dos Santos. Like unless they get Rai Benjamin or Carson Warholm in LA, like it's going to be really hard. I just see the guy like sweeping every single event. And then he just like took that personally. And then immediately after the race, whenever he got to his phone, he texted me. And he was like, let's see, I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, what do you say? That's kind of.
It's actually really
Yeah.
it's funny that you guys are on text relationship and you still right to his face said, I just don't see anybody.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's brutal.
He said, I told you we didn't need Rai or anyone else to beat Alison in the slam. And so when he came up on the set, I read the text out like on air, which like Sonia was like, you probably shouldn't just do that on air. That's proprietary, like confidential information.
Sonia's like, your bedside manner is pretty horrible.
But
Man.
I said, I was like, oh, you're the Dos Santos Slayer. And he was like, well, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah,
He was like,
yeah.
Maybe today, but like overall. And I was like, no, you got to reframe that thinking. So big showing for Trevor Bassitt.
This was huge. And I feel like Trevor's been having an amazing year. Like he signed with Adidas a couple months ago. Now he's coming off a Grand Slam track win. He's probably going to, who knows, probably get an invitation back to LA. Like he is on a roll right now. And this has to bring like massive confidence for the rest of 2025.
Yeah, Trevor's one of those guys when we think about just sort of like the landscape of the 400 hurdles, like, yes, you have Caleb Dean, who is a up-and-comer, but this weekend I think reminded us that, like, yes, we've had Rai be a staple on all of the teams, and for the last couple of years, Trevor has also
been the guy.
And he's trending in the right direction right now.
He's trending, yeah. It's like, it's hard to say 3 people are going to beat him when we get to USA's later on this year. So Trevor is that guy right now.
All right, so let's move on over to the women's long hurdles group. They also ran the flat 400 today. And this race was like, when I was watching it, I just felt like everyone was hurting, and there wasn't like a clear favorite in it. Lena Nielsen ends up taking the win in 52.60.
Yeah.
But the slam champion ends up being Jasmine Jones, who finished second in the race, and it was her first ever flat 400.
Yeah, she
PR.
Literally a PR in the 400. This was her first ever slam as a racer. She'd been injured for a little bit, and she becomes the first slam champion to not win either the 400, either race, right? She was second in the 4 hurdles and second here in the 400. So I did find it interesting. Like you said, we took Sydney out of the equation here, and now it just opened up the field. You had Anna Cockrell. She won the hurdles, but she was not a proven commodity in the 400. Jasmine Jones, running her first 400. So it kind of opened up the entire field, and it made it, I think, more interesting overall. Like, that was a pretty interesting race.
Yeah, I think a lot of the pre-race attention was certainly like on Anna Cockrell, and like rightfully so. Like, she's the Olympic silver medalist, but like when she was on the press conference stage and she said like, I hate the flat 400, I guess we should have taken her a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have a good one today. Like, she ends up running 53.35. So I was very optimistic that she was going to leave here with her open 400 being faster than her flat 400, but that's still her 400 hurdles being better. What? Too good?
The camera's here, Chris.
Mac was saying my eye contact.
I forgot what's going on.
Now
We're all-
speaking like
Guy goes to one wedding and
We're all
forgets how to
huddled
do his job.
We're all huddled up in the round circle.
Yeah, we're going back to the round
round
table. We
table.
loved
Round
it.
table
Yeah.
preview was very
Paul,
good.
Paul hopped on. He's like, there we go, man. Yeah.
Paul's just waiting in the wings. But anyway, Anna Cockrell, not the best day for her. But for Jasmine Jones, nice way to springboard your rookie season.
Yeah, I think this is big for Jasmine because it was a question mark on like what her form was going to be opening up the season. But now to get second in the 4 hurdles, second in the 400 in obviously a personal best. I mean, she's the 5th fastest all time in the 400 hurdles, got 4th place at the Olympics, just missed the podium. Like, she's looking very good now in 2025 as a rookie, literally a rookie.
I'm so interested to see what an extra month of training will do for her. And then, of course, if Sydney sticks to the plan and moves to the long sprints group for Los Angeles, then this will be just as interesting the second go around.
Yeah, it should be really, really good. I'm excited to see how it plays out. So, yeah.
Next up after that, we move to the women's short distance where they contested the 800, and it was Diribe Welteji just narrowly beating Olympic bronze medalist Georgia Hunter-Bell in 158.94. But this was Mary Mora took it out so aggressively and then ultimately paid the price. Addie Wiley was also up there, and the 1,500-meter specialist just stayed patient and managed to clean up in that second half of the race.
What was really exciting to see was the effect of yesterday's honest race in the 1,500 play out today. I think the 800-meter specialists felt the sting in the legs from having to double back off of a fast 1,500. Great to see the top three be 1,500-meter racers here. I think it's interesting. If I were on the men's side, I would take a note of this. Of like, all right, if we have a fast 15 to start in LA, like we can really put a dent into guys like Marco Arop and the rest of the field. So love to see it. Jess Hull came through. We spoke to her yesterday. She talked about practicing that back-to-back racing the rounds will be, and she came away with a 159. So that was good to see. Georgia Bell said she felt so much better on day 2. Day 1, she said she was expecting like a 72 first lap, just get right into it, nice and cozy with a tactical race, but nope, rip the Band-Aid off, and she came back all the better today. Welteji
is tough to beat.
This is the first time that anyone has swept both races in the short distance.
The short distance is so fun because it is so unpredictable, and you're not seeing people who are just dominating the fields. But this is a huge step forward for Jess. Like she's now looking like the athlete she was at the end of last year when she was so successful. You're seeing with the 800 on this field, on this track, that like Jess today was gapped on that first turn, and you saw the same thing with Cole Hawker yesterday. It seems like, I don't know if it's like just the wide turns, they're coming off the break-in pretty tough.
Yeah,
she had to do a lot of work, and I was shocked to see her with, I think it was 200 to go, 150 to go, pulling in, vying for the lead, vying for the win. And for an athlete like Jess, she doesn't really have the natural foot speed as these other athletes. So I think this was a big step forward for her, and it's got to feel good going into the rest of the season.
I think it showed because if we remembered kind of the last couple slams and we looked at just Jess's racing record, and she was all over the world. It was in China, she was in Australia, and just traveling a ton, and then training in Flagstaff for a bit. That I think finally with a good couple weeks of training, staying in one place, today showed that that's what happens when Jess Hull is race sharp.
And that's a serious stuff. 359, she was
359,
359, 159. That's a really big. That's a big jump forward with fitness.
Paul says 358. Oh yeah.
358.
We got to give her that. Yeah,
give her that. Yeah,
159,
no, yeah.
That's huge.
That is a huge
really
difference.
Big.
I think we're seeing the short distance groups, especially, we're seeing it play out. The fitness gains over week. We never get to see the top athletes work their way into shape like this, right? We usually see top athletes open up their seasons around now, but we've gotten the delight to see everyone work through their kinks all the way through the season. And now we're really seeing these athletes especially get race sharp, get race ready, and the races have been fireworks this weekend.
Yeah. And then looking at the overall standings from the weekend, so Welteji ends up taking the slam, 24 points, perfect weekend. Jess Hull finishes second. Georgia Hunter-Bell ends up being third. Nikki Hiltz, a little bit of concern just based off of seeing the KT tape on their leg, a little bit for the hamstring, but hopefully we'll be back to 100% come LA, because this is just a special group, and I'm just so curious. There's all the buzz and hype, and it could just be because we're always around Kyle, and he's trying to get us excited for the next one. That LA's challengers will be at just another level up from what we've seen at the last couple slams. So
I'm excited. Imagine. There's been a lot of hype about these challengers. So is it the challengers in all the events, or here comes Kyle? Let's have him spill it in.
Kyle,
let's
get this out.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about how you keep hyping up the challengers for LA.
Yeah.
Why is it that this is going to be like the big finale for GST season 1?
Yeah. So first off, I just want to say Paul was an unbelievable replacement for Chris yesterday. I'm shocked you're here. Why is Paul on the side? It was so good.
My voice already cracked once.
Paul's actively going through puberty in the eyes of CITIUS viewers, so you can join him. I think there's a few factors at play. Where it sits in the season is naturally favorable for more athletes. A lot of people are coming over to the States for Prefontaine. And then I think there's a lot of people who are just sitting on the sidelines waiting to see what this whole thing is all about, and they like it. So we've had many, many proposals that are shaping up to be an incredibly good meet in Los Angeles.
All right. So while we have you here, what's your big takeaway from this meet, and then we'll let you go?
Philly shows up. Crazy. Like, it wasn't just that there was a lot of people here, but they were so knowledgeable. Like, a really, really well-educated crowd about the sport has me feeling, I'm like a little fired up when people say like, oh, America doesn't have track fans. I'm like, no, they do. Like 100%. We saw it today. I think the stadium's full in a couple years. A big takeaway, like some people are really good at running. Like Melissa, I'm like just blown away.
Blown away. Like, what are you saying?
To like already put her as the 100-meter favorite.
I would say my takeaway in general is I think that the people who have been sitting on the sidelines watching Grand Slam track so far have created monsters out of Kenny and Melissa, and they are so confident in going into the championship season. Like, they feel completely invincible right now, and I think that was a mistake to let them come here and run so unbeaten.
All right.
Like that.
There you have it. That is Senior Director of Racing, Kyle Merber. All right. Getting back to it, let's move on to another event. What do we have
The
next?
men's short hurdles with the 100.
Yeah.
For the men's short hurdles.
Men's short hurdles, 100. Trey Cunningham takes the win, 10:36. And when he crossed the finish line, he was just a little bit upset because he knew that like his 100-meter hurdle race or 110 hurdle race is what ultimately cost him the slam title, because he had a good showing here today, but it's Jamal Britt who takes home the title.
Jamal Britt, yeah. I think Trey knew, I think most of the field knew that if Trey or if Jamal won the 110 hurdles and then Trey didn't win, then it was going to be a problem, because Trey and Jamal are by far the fastest 100-meter sprinters, and Jamal showed up in those hurdles, got second place behind Trey here, got the overall title. Now, Trey clearly showed some dominance. You're talking 10:36 to 10:50, for Jamal, but I mean, Jamal, for him to be another athlete who doesn't have a major sponsor. He runs with Tracksmith right now. He has spoken about how he's been on the circuit for about 4 years at this point, still kind of just grinding it out. He spoke very highly of Grand Slam. This is his second slam coming off Miami, where he gets the opportunity to compete with the best here in the United States. Like, this is a big opportunity for him. So shout out to Jamal.
I think people will start putting more respect on Jamal Britt's like flat like speed, because like he's clocked personal best in what, in the 100, 200, and now like.
And now even in the 110s, he was like just off his personal best there. So clearly he has tons of flat speed, and he's able to keep up in the hurdles with all these top guys, right? It's just his name isn't really out there. He's not one of the prominent guys like a Cordell or a Trey or a Grant or somebody like that. So I think he has a very good shot to hopefully get invited back to LA and then carry that through to USA's.
Jamal also said that he's a rounds guy. Like he's
really?
like he's come down from the 400 hurdles. He's come down from the long sprints, and he has endurance that maybe short sprinters don't have, that he's built over time. He also said, he's like, these guys underestimate me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm quick. And he showed that today.
We did get him in the. We got him in the gun. Like, we got him in the zone. He's raced. Aisha was looking at his World Athletics page before, and the guy. I mean, he's raced a lot. He's sharp. I think he had something like 750 races.
I mean,
in the last
it's like
6
2
months.
pages worth. You got to scroll. This guy's been,
It's like
he's
him and Nozomi are like back and forth, right?
exactly.
They call him the Nozomi Tanaka.
Great pull, Anderson.
I was trying to think of her name in my mind. I'm like, I know who it is.
The Nozomi Tanaka of the men's hurdles. Love it.
Nice.
All right, then we had the women's short hurdles.
Yes.
And in the flat 100, not a shocker here. Akira Nugent, has proven that she's got the best 100-meter speed of the group.
Yeah.
And Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone gave her a good fight there.
Yeah, this was the race that everyone was really looking forward to. We knew that in the hurdles, Sydney was punching a little above her weight because those were the specialists there, but everyone was questioning what would Sydney be able to do. She had run that really fast 200 last year, 22:07. She had run a windy 11:07 back in her freshman year of college at Kentucky, and now it was like, all right, Akira, Sydney, what can happen? But Akira got out like a shot, from the gun, out of the blocks. She executed so well in that first 30. And Sydney didn't execute as well, but she was able to kind of, maintain with Akira to pull up for second place. But yeah, I thought this was a good race.
Each slam, I think I come away thinking even more highly of Akira Nugent when it comes to just what she could be capable of come the World Championships, because yes, Masai Russell still has looked like the top dog come in the hurdles, but the rest of the Paris Olympic podium, when they signed all three, and that was a really splashy thing for Grand Slam months back. But it really has just been Masai and Akira who have really showed up as the racers in this group. Yeah,
I think Akira got a little overlooked last year because she made it to the Olympic final, but she hit a hurdle, so she wasn't able to actually finish. And she didn't get the pomp and circumstance like Masai did, or even Serena, winning a medal at home in Paris. But she actually had the world lead in the hurdles last year, and now coming into Grand Slam as one of the racers, winning the last slam, overall, I feel like Akira is really kind of building momentum to something big later on this season. And I think this was important for Akira because she's going to have Jamaican trials. So she won't be here in LA. So she actually even said that, listen, she wanted to make sure she can prove herself at this slam and even at the last slam to be like, all right, I did my job at slam. Now let me carry this over to the postseason.
So no Jamaicans in LA.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Danielle Williams doesn't have to run trials.
She has a wild card. She's a defending world champion.
That's right. So, okay, that'll be interesting. Also, one quick note that they made at the end of the broadcast, which may have kind of slipped by viewers, but I think it's now official. I don't want to get in trouble. But LA down to 2 days.
Yes, Michael in the mix zone, he confirmed it.
Oh,
so
okay,
it's
great.
on the City Smack YouTube channel. You can check it already.
All right, perfect.
You're going to have to crash the stream if that was not allowed.
Yeah. Well, then that's when Paul takes over.
Yeah. That was strike three. Yeah.
That was strike three.
God, I hope.
All right. All right. Men's long distance got dropped down to just one race. Now it's the 3K, and it was
slower.
That's what it was.
They're like, oh, if we take out the 5, then they'll run fast. And watch this. Yeah. We didn't realize Grant scratched until we're out here looking, and we saw he wasn't out there. So hope everything's all good.
Yeah, something came up during his warm up. He tried to see if it was going to be good enough to run through it, but no, he's not going to risk it. It's I think what he had said to it was Kyle. I think was that it's a long year. Don't want to risk it. I'll try and be back by LA. So
those are the really
I don't think
very
it's
mature things to do. I would have just torn my hamstring out there.
100%. It would be falling off the bone.
I'm it doesn't feel good. He's probably watching though. He's like, well, my hammy was good enough for an 8:05 3K. I don't need it fully extended. But yeah, pretty interesting race.
But if you're one of the competitors, right? He scratches, or you don't even see him in the call room. How does that change your approach or dynamics? Because did you think that he was going to be the guy to really make that race?
I would have thought that he would have done a kind of a similar strategy to Miami, where he just pulls from a little bit farther out. I don't think he's got no reason to make it as hard of a 7:30 or faster 3K. But I do think he probably would have gone from 800 a K to something similar to that. And if you're these other guys, I just don't see it's so hard to make it fast enough that you're going to drop everybody, right? If you're, let's say a guy like Graham Blanks, who's very strong, but are you strong enough to drop a Nico Young? Are you strong enough to drop Quamoy and these other guys? it's so hard at this level. So it's to see these fast races. In the longer distance, it's honestly going to take a couple some sacrificial lambs. Like it's
and you don't get that in a field of 8.
No.
No one wants to be the lamb.
You really don't, because also it's everybody's got a shot when it gets into the slow when it is slow, and that's why I think you see in Miami Grant's like not everybody's got a shot when I pull from farther out. Nico Young, I mean, first Grand Slam, but I mean, the guy's unbelievably talented and ran an incredibly poised, very savvy race.
People forget he's a 350 miler. You can't leave a race like this because it's like the same way Coscoran was a threat in Miami. It's like you just serve this one up to Nico Young.
Didn't make a lot of moves, right? He was biding his time and waited until the last possible moment and just ran a really smart race.
Yeah, tactically, Nico is amazing.
Yeah.
We were watching the race back, and 3 laps to go. He's just he's sitting calmly in the back. He's staying out of trouble. He slides up the field beautifully on the backstretch. It was like textbook tactical racing. Clearly, his speed and his turnover. We know Nico's fast. We know Nico can kick, but the move he made around 150 to go, it was like he was shot out of a cannon. Really an elastic, quick move. That's really good to see.
Can you do that again? The old
Yeah, I mean, I love a change of pace like that. That's the kind of stuff that when you have done it enough times, that's when you see world medals get earned, is the ability to make those quick moves. We see a lot of Ethiopian athletes and Kenyan athletes be able to make those really shifty, quick moves and hold it to the finish. And that's what we saw Nico do today. It makes me really excited for the guy.
And Kai ran a really good race. Kai he's kind of stepped up and was pulling from a little bit farther out. Made it. I think he ran, with two to go, he ran 58. So he's, it's not enough. These guys are talented enough to all hang with him, but it stretched it out a bit, and I'm sure you're getting a lot of confidence just being at the front and controlling race. So I'm sure that's good for him going forward.
Yeah.
I don't know. You wouldn't have caught this on the broadcast. We'll have to have Mac throw a graphic up. Sam Gilman, it might be my new favorite.
Sam Gilman, absolutely.
On the backstretch.
Fantastic race.
Hyping the crowd. He had full sections
was he doing
with him.
Like this?
Yeah. Doing he was choreographing the entire backstretch. Probably 1,000 people were in step with him here, Mac's going to show it on the screen. Incredible stuff. He came through the mix zone last. You would have thought the guy won. He did the whole hyping the crowd. Honestly,
I mean, this is just being able to train alongside a guy like that. But to come out here, finish second today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So huge day for him. He absolutely did have the entire crowd eating out of the palm of his hand. Mac was like, "Is he from Philly?" And they're like, "No." They love him here. He's the mayor of Philadelphia. Really fun to see. Great race from him.
Yeah, most popular athletes in Philly: Jalen Hurts, Sam Gilman, Saquon Barkley. That's how it goes. All right, so moving on from the men's long distance group. We had the women's long sprints. They had 200 today. Marlady Paulino coasting in 22:46. Strong run.
This was smooth. I mean, this was she sweeps. The dominance of Paulino is just it's settled in. I said it yesterday where she took Kingston very, very personally, where she did not like losing there, and I feel like she's never going to lose again. Now, maybe, LA is going to be interesting if Gabby steps things up, the 200 in even Sydney there. But the fact that she dominated the 400, came here, the 200, she won by she ran 22.4, and Isabella Whitaker was, I think, 22.6 or 22.8. 22.8, yeah. So, such a dominant race from Paulino. And I feel like she's progressively getting better through the season, even though the time wasn't better than what she's run. But I feel like she's timing things really, really well for Los Angeles as a last stop and then going to the World Championships.
Yeah, so if you are a Paulino stan, right? and you're heading into this huge war that's going to take place in LA, where you have Sydney, potentially Gabby, you have Salwa.
Yeah.
Like, how are you feeling going into that one if you're a Paulino stan?
So I personally feel very good. If I'm rooting for Paulino, I feel very good because she just looks so determined about like never losing, especially in the 400 yesterday where we saw Salwa got DQ'd, but Salwa was leading off the curve and Paulino had like that fire in her eyes where she's like, I'm not losing this. This is my race, and I'm going to maintain this streak that I have right now. So going into LA, we've even seen Paulino beat out Sydney at, I think in 2023, she beat her at a Diamond League in Paris. So she's not scared of anyone. Like, I feel like she's not scared of anyone.
Yeah. Okay, so who's the next best feeling group of those, if you're a fan of one of those athletes?
One of the athletes from there?
Heading into LA, who's the next best feeling fan base?
Probably Sydney. I'd probably say Sydney, especially actually coming off of this, where Sydney dipped her toes into a group that she's not familiar with, where she didn't win either of the races, and it's completely uncharted territory. I think that gave her another sliver of confidence, like, okay, I know what it's like to lose. Now I can kind of like, put some, extra fire into myself going into another, field where I might not actually win.
All right, this is more of a question for Coach Tanja Buford-Bailey, but like, do you still make the move up to the long sprints group if you're Gabby?
That's
even after this
question.
Weekend wasn't perfect.
Well, I don't know. What do you think? Because Gabby, the thing that's tough for Gabby is coming here in the short sprints. This was tough with Melissa. Now going back up to the long sprints, it's even tougher if Sydney's entering the fold. If Marliti is already like in great form. I mean, I don't know. Do you think like?
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't think that coming out of this whole first season that maybe Gabby's a one slam champion, but also I think
first off, great reversal, Anderson. Yeah. Chris is like, what do you think? You're like, I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, Chris is like interviewing me with like a whole bunch of questions.
I put him in the hot seat there. But also, like, I could see just like how crazy LA could get, because if you throw Gabby and Sydney into the mix, they're taking potential points away in the 200 for the overall slam title from Paulino and Nasser if those two go 1-2. So
okay, so maybe let's say hypothetically Gabby wins the 200.
If you're Sydney, you want Gabby in LA.
You want her in LA. Yeah, that's true.
Well, actually,
because Sydney, hypothetically,
Sydney could take second and second.
If she takes second and second, that's really good. But then if Gabby wins the 200 and then maybe she finishes second in the 4 or third, which will be tough, but like
possible.
There's something we can game out where it actually could be good for Gabby. But I think overall, it's tough. Like, it's going to be very, very tough for Gabby.
And then, that's the big thing. And Mac kind of like has been stressing this, that those women that we've named, they've made their money
They're
just
good.
in the sport. This isn't about money. I think that the fact that the 4 of them could go head to head to head to head is tremendously, something to applaud, because we've tried to see, I think, Diamond Leagues get so political where it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, this athlete doesn't want this person in the race, and like, we're going to pay this person this much and this person this much.
Yeah.
That's the stuff behind the scenes that you don't see, that occasionally doesn't lead to the fields that we want. Yeah. Now you've got 4 athletes who are like, no, I want it.
I want it, yeah. And 3 of the 4 are slam champions, right? At some point during the season. So this is a race that we're looking forward to. So, yeah. TBD on Gabby. Sydney did say that she is going to be doing it in LA, so that'll be good.
All right, so we got confirmation on one of the 2 that needs to commit to the dream matchup.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see on what Gabby says. All right, so then after that, we had the men's long sprints, 200.
Yes.
This one was Ogando wins the race in 20.13, but it's actually Matthew Hudson-Smith who takes the slam title, and this one took a while for people to try and figure out like who.
Yeah, I was a little confused.
I was so confused too.
Diribe yesterday in the 400, he had finished third place, I think it was, and now he finished second. So in my mind,
That's what I thought.
And Matthew was all the way down in 5th place. So I'm like, how did the points kind of work out?
Matthew ended up pulling a Josh Kerr. Like if you
16
think about
points.
it.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
So 1 and then 5. And
That's
you can.
crazy.
We learned in Miami you could win off of that combination if the cards fall the right way, and they did in his favor.
There you go. So now Matthew Upton Smith is a 2-time Slam champion.
Yeah, but I think the part where I'm a little bit concerned with him is that he just can't string together back-to-back good races. Like in both Kingston and here, it was one good race and then one not so great race.
Yeah.
Where in Kingston it was the
It was a
400 wasn't
400.
that great, and then the 200 you redeemed himself. And then here it was the 400 was good, 200 not good.
Not good, yeah. And yesterday, I think Paul spoke to him, and he said that in Miami, he was like really trying to push the 200, trying to keep up with Dream and Alex, who had run extremely fast, and that kind of got him a little bit injured and set him back. So I don't know if he's maybe like
Forcing it
in some capacity. The 400, he looked super comfortable yesterday. So I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, but he's coming out as a Slam champion, and I know he wants to maintain that title by whatever means necessary. And he said it where he doesn't like being called a silver medalist, anymore. He wants to get the gold medal at the World Championship. So these are stepping stones towards that.
For him to get awarded that 100K check, like he must just be like, whew, wow, like that was not the easiest 100K to make.
At all. But yeah. So that was a good one.
All right, now let's get into, I think, what was the race of the day. Men's short distance, 1500. This one had it all because one, like it wasn't necessarily slow. Cole Hocker goes to the front, starts pressing it, and you're like, okay, like the Olympic champion wants his swagger back because yesterday wasn't so great. Although I did think Cole had a solid close. He negative split the 800 yesterday, but asserts himself at the front of the race. And as it's playing out, like you start to see the cast of the 1500-meter guys start to move up, aggressive charges by the likes of Josh Kerr. Somewhere in there was Yared also like sticking his nose in it. Josh Hoey attempts to make a big pass. And then I think what was one of the ballsiest moves the whole entire race was Marco Arop just forcing his way out into lane, whatever we're in, like 5 or whatever it was. He went so wide to make his way to the front with less than 300 to go. And I was thinking, I was like, Marco, too soon.
Not again.
Because, the one thing that Josh pointed out was just in your guys' content creator interview with him last time was that he can hear the breathing that Marco has. And it's like when Marco's like really exerting himself, like, he's falling apart. And I was like, this is a long way out for him to try and bring this home. And it did. Like, he tied up. And then it was, a classic Kerr versus Hawker matchup. Cole looked good, but it was Josh who just had the final little bit to get him at the finish line. But the important thing here was that as Marco is fading, he still fought for every place, and with a lean, I think it was like 0.07 seconds ahead of Josh Hoey. That's enough to get him the Slam title. So I think the beautiful thing is that we had a great duel between Josh Kerr and Cole Hocker, but for Marco, he comes away with the Slam title and gets rewarded. Like, kudos to him to get the 100K for that effort. Remarkable. I mean, the race had it all.
It had it all. Marco's getting better at the 15. Again, just like moving too hard, being a little bit too aggressive. But if he just has a little bit more patience, he's going to be really dangerous. And I think that the 1500-meter runners are seeing this happen. I mean, he was 4th today. And, he's close. He's very, very close to figuring this thing out. But, my goodness, Josh Kerr had to really, really work to pass Hoey. We watched that a few times coming around with 80 to go. Josh went into lane 3 to get around. It was an epic battle.
Yeah, this was, in my opinion, like the race of the day. The 15 is like, there's been a new Grand Slam champion at each of these slams. Yeah. It's incredibly unpredictable. But yeah, very happy for Marco. Once he does figure out, once he gets more reps in the 15 and he really figures it out, he's going to be very tough to beat, especially if he has the 800 on lock like he does right now. Cole Hocker. I think this was a big weekend for Cole Hocker. I think he looked similar to Jess Hull, starting to look like they did last year. I thought he just barely got outkicked by Josh Kerr, right? Mm-hmm. And it's he won the Olympic gold, but until then, had he ever beaten Josh Kerr?
No.
I mean, so he's making the steps that he needs to get back. Josh Kerr is clearly very confident, right? I think this was another really good day for him. But yeah, so incredibly exciting. These were the best challenges I thought of the meet. Hoey,
Hobbs.
You never quite know. These are two guys that you wouldn't be surprised if they had finished top 3 in both events. So I thought it was was such a fun event.
Anderson found out a really interesting tidbit on
Cole.
Cole
Cole said that he was supposed to run the 3K, 5K here.
I don't think Kyle let him.
Yeah, like Kyle cut him out of it. Like, I don't know.
Well, so here's I think like that was proposed. I think like that was proposed at some point that he would run the 3K, 5K here. But I wonder if he maybe changed his mind at some point when one event got cut and it's like, oh, now I can only make
Less
50K.
money.
Less money. So maybe that played into it much later on, but. It's also unpredictable. Like, you couldn't have predicted that Grant would have scratched, because I was watching that race and I was like, if Cole had been in that, he would have crushed that field, I think. Or actually, no, Nico's very good, but Cole would have made that race so much more interesting. So yeah, I mean, he's got the versatility to be like one of those unicorns in Grand Slam.
And he did say he's going to double at USA's. He'll do the 15.5.
And that's the interesting part for how Grand Slam fits into Cole's ultimate plans for the year, is that he wants to make the team in the 15 and the 5K, and he's been running all these 800s, but it doesn't hurt to have that closing speed. I think that's where it's going to pay off.
And I think you get more confidence because he's been kind of getting worked in these 15s by guys that he beat in the Olympic final. So I honestly think it was probably a better confidence booster to come here in your main event and just barely get out leaned by Josh Kerr. I think this is a better. I think you have a better takeaway from this weekend as opposed to just running a sit and kick 3K.
Yeah, and it's the first time I guess this season during Grand Slam that he's beaten Yared, which is like another big thing. Like, Yared's going to be his biggest competition at USA's, and so you want to at least, like, I think things are trending back to sort of normalcy where it's like, all right, Cole will be ready come USA's. So and Yared for his birthday, what did he end up finishing?
I think
he finished 6th.
Finished 6th.
Not a great day, but I mean, Yard really went for it yesterday in the 8. Like, might have cooked the legs a bit. I haven't seen Yard be super aggressive like that in an 800, so I'm sure that was a good stimulus for his system. Like, all right, let's see how we can run, putting that fatigue in the legs.
Did you see he was wearing an earring?
Oh,
I think
new earring?
He turns 26 today, and he's
right.
like, I'm feeling feeling different.
New me.
Get my own health insurance.
I didn't
and
see the earring.
Yeah.
I'm Yard's turning out to be like his 800 progression has been really fun to watch. He's looking really good in that event, which will pay off down the road.
Curious, how did y'all feel about Hobbs Kessler and his double here?
Well, so I love the kid, but like, I think he underperformed to the expectations of what people maybe thought in terms of just like, oh, he's going to be a smash hit in the Grand Slam format. But I think that was part of the question mark, was the race sharpness.
Well, of course, like, you're not going to come in against a field like this, and like we said, he had one parking lot mile under his belt. You're not just going to be able to come and perform to exactly how you want to and beat all these guys, right? But I mean, in the 800 yesterday, he got after it. Like, in true Hobbs fashion, he got right on the shoulder of the leaders, stuck himself right in the position that you'd want him to be in, and just kind of faded. So he was aggressive, but yeah, just wasn't as sharp as the other racers. And it's kind of the same with Georgia Bell in the women's side of the event. Like, you're just not going to be as sharp as the other competitors, and that just comes with racing them more.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we had
women's short sprints with the 100.
Oh yeah, now we get into the hundreds.
Yes.
I mean, this
My
was
goodness.
just incredible. 1073, Melissa Jefferson Wooden. She was shot out of a cannon immediately as soon as the gun went off. And like, at first, because of just like how windy it's kind of been in here,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, like, I really hope that wasn't
It's
like
legal, yeah.
not wind legal. but it was, and it actually wasn't it no wind?
No, it was 1.4.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
1.4. Yeah.
But
no,
still,
this was crazy, and yeah, we were
tied for 10th all time.
all time. Yeah, and
Wow.
huge. And her personal best before this was 10.80 from last year. So a massive drop. Afterwards, she kind of maybe did the political thing. She was like, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised because I'd seen it in practice, kind of thing. But like this was huge for Melissa, and like she dominated the field. Second place was 11.03. Like out from the blocks, executed her first 30 similar to like she did in a 200, and then she just maintained throughout the entire race all the way through the finish line. She was that was immaculate. Immaculate.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Kyle. Are you ready to put her as like the 100-meter favorite right now? Like it's the topic of discussion I think on Twitter right now, because Julian's kind of had a weird approach to this season where we haven't really seen her race a whole lot. Sha'Carri didn't open up as fast. She might be here.
I know. Yeah. It's so interesting. I mean, like, I think it's tough. Julian has had a pretty good 2025 season already, where she's run in the 200. She ran 21.8 already. She's run some longer distances in the 300, the 400. I think she's probably still the favorite if you were to pick someone. Okay. She doesn't have to worry about a trials like Melissa does, but I think Melissa is closing the gap. And just like Kyle said, everyone let Melissa get these wins and like build that confidence where she feels unstoppable at this moment. Like, there's three people are not beating her at USA's, and I'm not picking 3 people to beat her at Worlds when she gets there, and she is in the running for a gold medal. Yeah. This is turning out to be Melissa's year,
and I think she's gonna make both teams.
Yeah, she said she's going for both. So after running 21.9, so now she's like very much in the conversation there. I mean, Melissa is really unstoppable, and I love like both days she's spoken about she just listening to her coach, and executing the races in the way that her coach has told her to. We saw it in the 200, got out like a shot. We saw it in the 100, where she's known as an amazing starter already. I think she is like really putting things together to a T. This is good.
It's going to be so fascinating, I think, to see what she's got, like in the season ahead, because she's accomplished so much already. And I think like once LA wraps up, I'd say just get to training for the rounds, because like we could see a 10.6 in Eugene.
I know. It's crazy. She ran 10.73. She said that she's going to LA, then she'll do Prefontaine.
Oh, okay.
And then she'll do pre, and then she's going straight into training. So, but specifically to the point, she's mentioned that these doubles at Grand Slam have helped her get more prepared for rounds that she'll experience at USA's.
Because they're both Nike athletes, does that mean that we could potentially see Sha'Carri versus Melissa for the first time?
I think so. Actually, yeah.
Because
Sha'Carri, I think, was already announced for pre.
Yeah.
By pre. So yeah, well, that's actually intriguing, because
I think she was.
She
right?
was earlier in the.
She was.
She was.
Max like.
I'm like
confused.
90% sure
Daddy.
she was. I'm like 90% sure she was.
What'd you say, Paul? Oh, then Paul's making a joke. Oh, she's just now an owner and ambassador for
Chris
the
is like, what?
Classic.
Chris is so mad at Paul. What?
Shut up, Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, we may see that matchup, which is, I think, highly anticipated. Even, who knows, Julian Alfred ran it last year too.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows? That should be a good matchup. But
Oh man, that'd be
That would
sick.
be so good.
I don't think they're not gonna let that. They wouldn't let that happen.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, who knows? Imagine.
Who's the meet director? Capriotti? Make it happen.
Make it happen. And real quick, before we move over to the men, I mean, what do you take away from Gabby Thomas at this slam? She finished 4th place in the 100 here, 2nd in the 200. Like, I don't know, overall takeaways.
I think it lights a fire under her, right? Like, and I think that's a good thing for like an Olympic champion to just like, it's not, and also like it's good for the storylines.
It is.
I mean, we were talking about like what she could do if she stepped up to the long sprints group, but I would respect her even more if she says like, you know what? No, I am going to beat Melissa, and she's like, I'm going to stick in this group. So that's the thing. It's like you can't go wrong with whatever approach Gabby's going to take from here. But I'm not worried. Not one bit.
No worries. We saw her last year lose that 200 in like at the LA Grand Prix or whatever. So like, she's able to take losses and bounce back.
Yeah, actually, I mean, excellent point to bring that race up because like she's been very public. It's harder now that you're the Olympic champion and you get paid so much more to show up to races. Not necessarily here because they've got a contract like for the year, but you know, at some of these diamond leagues or these other meets, like when she's chosen to double, it's felt like one of those races was probably a workout.
Yeah.
And now it's harder to do that because like you have so many eyeballs. So for her to come out and like it not be perfect, this isn't new, and I think like she'll correct these things in time for the championships.
Yeah, Gabby will be good. So
yeah. All right, and then to close it out, we had Mr. $300,000 at this point. Kenny Bednarek stays perfect and sweeps the 100 and the 200, takes the 100 today in 9.86, which is a win legal personal best. I mean, that is enough, I think, at this point. I mean, his comments afterwards speak for themselves. What did he say in the mix zone?
He said that he believes he is the best sprinter in the world right now in 2025. And I mean, can you debate it? I mean, he's run 9.86, he's run 19.8, he's beat like some of the top guys in the world, right?
We said how his toughest competitors potentially like are all hurt.
Oh yeah,
Noah,
Tobogo. So it's like how can you deny Kenny B right now? And he did it both in the 200 and the 100, where the 200 he runs 19.9. The rest of the field, he beats the field by half a second. He runs 9.86 here. No one breaks 10 behind him. It's like he's
I didn't realize that.
He's dominating the field. It's like it's absolutely not close. And even here, like his reaction time was like he was kind of sleeping in the blocks. Like he didn't get out or at least react to the gun.
Oh, that's
very
right.
well.
Yeah, he had the slowest reaction time of the whole field,
of the entire field.
And it was cool to be sitting next to Sonia for it because she noticed that how quick the gun was. Like they said set, and it was like go. Like it was kind of nuts how fast that all unfolded. And so Kenny did not get a good start.
He didn't get a good start. So I think that speaks to the things that he's been working on, where he's been vocal about getting a better start, being able to be with the field, at least 30 to 40 meters into the race, because he knows he has a very good second half. Of course, we had Christian Coleman in this race, who I consider probably one of the best starters in history, and he got out very fast. But if Kenny is able to dominate a field like this, I mean, the confidence is just through the roof.
I'm trying to think, if you're Noah Lyles, like what is your response to all of this? Like how good does your first race back have to be? And then also just sort of like you're so relieved that you have the bye to the World Championships in the 100 and the 200, and then on top of that, like I don't think that Noah is like the type of guy who would duck competition, but like he doesn't have to go through the rounds at USA's. You save yourself from like potentially facing Kenny there as well. So like we might be waiting until September to see Kenny versus Noah.
We very likely could. And Noah has been on the run of like this, the fastest man in the world, coming off the Olympic gold medal. I think he wants to maintain that title and not, because he ran a 400 this year and he lost it, but it's not the 100, right? And it's not against your toughest competition of Kenny B or, whoever else, Oblique Seville, like the guys who've been running here. So I do think maybe he goes to trials. He does a Grant Holloway where he runs like, 2 rounds and then pulls out of the final.
Or you run 1 round and then see if Kenny is seated in your semifinal, and if he is, then he scratch.
And then just scratch. That would be that would look like ducking. That would look really bad. That would look like, all right, come on, you're ducking. So yeah, but Kenny, like, no one is stopping Kenny B right now. As of right now, it's like Kenny B is the best guy in this race.
And that, I guess, is the next question after that is like, how sustainable is this going to be? And that's up to, Dennis Mitchell to try and figure out.
Yeah, well, I was actually thinking about that because the conversation will sometimes be, are you peaking too early? Are you running too fast too early? Last year, Kenny B set a personal best in the 200 early, like at the Doha Diamond League. And then he also set a personal best, like, I think, not at the Olympic final, but he ran extremely fast. He set a personal best, like, later on in the season. Like, Kenny B and Dennis Mitchell, they've been working so well together since, I think, 2019 that they know what's necessary for Kenny to execute throughout the entire year. So I'm not worried about Kenny at all.
Wow. I mean, the guy might end up perfect through. Like, it depends on who the set of challengers that are going to come in, but, like, you have to be in fantastic shape to try and even just put anything. A dent in the point total.
Any type of dent. Like Kenny is on one. Kenny is
on one right now. All right, that is Grand Slam track Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Great meet.
Great weekend.
Great weekend. It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Nice, Chris.
Yeah. Paul couldn't pull that shit.
Yeah. That was big for you,
That
Chris.
was big. That was big.
Really big.
Great weekend overall. Thanks to everyone who came out to our group run on Saturday morning. Thanks to everyone who's tuned into the morning show. Those things have been so entertaining and fun.
Very fun and entertaining.
Yeah, we're a little
We've been having
worried we're
fun.
going to be in trouble.
Very
We're going
revealing.
too far off the rails.
Aisha's feisty in the morning.
So subscribe if you want to take it on the go and listen to it. I wouldn't recommend listening to your guys' podcast on a run because like you're gonna start cracking up while running, and I don't think that's
Good. Thank you for saying that, Chris.
We're not in trouble.
So subscribe to Off the Rails with Eric and Aisha. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We might even launch a YouTube channel for them. Some sort of Instagram.
Yeah.
We're ruminating right now on like what the handle is going to be because we need to get all these clips out. Sometimes I feel like putting the clip about you being butt naked in the hotel room on the main CITIUS Mag Instagram feed was pretty risque, I would say.
Well, didn't you do it?
I did it. I did that.
I don't have Instagram.
To be honest, like I did hide it from my main grid. I'm like, is my boss gonna be mad about? Like, I have a corporate job. Like, I gotta clear a real HR, not just Eric. But like, you know, a little risque.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Eric really did keep me in check this morning when I was walking the
Oh,
line.
I watched that clip and I started sweating. I was just like, when you guys started, when Aisha was like, let's rate women. And I was like, let's not. How do we shut this off?
Yeah. Yeah, we should fire that one over to your boss.
Please don't.
Anyway, Off the Rails with Eric and Aisha. It's gonna go even more off the rails, I feel like. And then Anderson's got tons of videos up on the final leg.
Yes.
YouTube, podcast.
Yes.
So check that out. He's been doing. I will say you've been doing a great job of like doing the individual event breakdowns across the sprints and the lead up to the
doing
slams,
some previews. Yep,
takeaways afterwards. So just subscribe and check all of that out. And yeah, follow us up on
and
Paul.
Yes.
Paul, because you held it down yesterday, and
said only because.
Yeah.
That's your
Paul's
tryout.
got a new podcast, and it's the Pauly Throw Show on Spotify. He's working to get it on Apple Podcasts, but then also on the Pauly Throws YouTube channel, he does This Week in Throws because we don't let him talk about throws on This Week in Track and Field when me and Preet talk about everything happening in the sport. So he's taken it upon himself to launch his own show. So kudos to him. And go show that some love and support. Make sure to follow Paul because Paul will be taking over in LA of the show. I'm retiring from CITIUS
There was a
Mag
board
at Grand
meeting.
Slam. Yeah. I'm
Chris
being
goes
forced
home
to retire.
devastated.
Yeah.
No, I've got another wedding to go to. Wild comment. I'm not gonna say the comment that was shared by Michael Johnson when he was like, "Oh, so you're not coming to LA?" And I was like, "No, I'm sending the team. I trust the team. Like they're gonna do great." And he's like, "What? Another wedding?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You know they're gonna get divorced in like 2 years."
Hey, statistics show, man. Yeah.
That's cold.
Yeah.
I believe that these friends will make it and live a very long, happy life.
Michael Johnson doesn't think so.
That's tough to like start off
Yeah,
your
yeah.
nuptials.
He's nothing to lose.
He'll
Yeah.
find a way to ruin that marriage.
Anyway, what an ending to this amazing weekend. Thanks everyone for watching and listening all weekend long. Chris Chavez, Anderson Emerald, Aisha Protlier, and Eric Jenkins. They'll see you in LA. I won't. I'll be tuning in too.